So I'm just going to start with the weird stuff first and then go on to the normal stuff. So we just had the most recent price capture, which is January 26th. And I don't know what's going on, but there are two cards in the top 10 that had some pretty weird behavior. And I want to talk about Lily's Clefairy first and then Team Rocket's Moltres. But generally, both of them had the same issue or interesting anomaly. So let's go to Lily's Clefairy here. Beautiful card. I absolutely love it. But for a while, it had been on a downtrend, as you can see. Going to 3-month time frame, it was 157 at one point, dropped all the way down to 115-ish. But look at this. Something weird happened on January 20th, right here. It was on average 126, and for some reason, there were 50 of them sold just on that one day. And if we look at the recent sales, go all the way down to January 20th, here they are. 20th, 20th, the 20th, 20th, and on, 20th, 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 until way down here. I don't know what happened, but there was a massive buying spree on January 20th, which was the day after we had the last price capture on January 19th. So we did not have this last week. We do now. Either it is one somebody or multiple somebodies just decided to buy all the Lily's Clefairies that they could find, at least on TCG Player. They bought it at 115, 120, 135, 117, more 121s, 117s again. On and on and on and on, 50 purchases. Not sure what's going on. Maybe somebody is trying to corner the market because I really don't understand why there would be 50 purchases of this not so cheap card. It's a beautiful card, awesome card, but still 50 sold all at once. I think that was the most sold ever. Let me see. Okay, not the most sold ever, but the most sold in recent times. Yeah, in the past there were, well, yeah, makes sense in the past here when Journey Together was largely new. Yeah, like 77 of them sold at 1.67, 48, 85, 93. But I mean, after such a lull for a long time and all of a sudden, boom, 50 purchases. I don't know what went on there, but that was the reason why on my chart, it shows a big spike in the price. It's because all those purchases, those 50 purchases, just on that one day, raised the price to what? About, before it was like about 117. Now it's about 128, 126. Let's just say 126 average. This is what it's showing right here. So yeah, that's kind of weird. But then that's not the only story. We have Team Rocket's Moltres, same thing. And this is the Near Mint Hollow, by the way, only looking at Near Mint. It wasn't on January 20th, but it was on January 21st, right here, where we had 26 of these cards sold. And again, really awesome card. I really want the Team Rocket's Moltres and not the stamped one that you get from the GameStop exclusive box. I want the one that you pull from the pack. On the 21st, 26 of these cards sold, and that caused a bit of a bump, not as big a bump as Lily's Clefairy, but still a bump that was noteworthy enough that it ended up appearing on my top 10 in my chart here, because the delta for this past week was $6. So that was kind of noticeable. That was definitely noteworthy. Yeah, in terms of volume, compared to the past, it is kind of average, I suppose, if you're just to average everything out, all the number of Moltres is sold. But just within this 1 month, it is the most that has been purchased, 26 of them. I don't know if someone is cornering the market here, but for some reason, 21 of them were sold. And if we look at recent price data, here they are, a lot right there at 102, 105, 101, 97, 97, 99. So a small range of prices there. And none of these appear to be illegitimate purchases, as we had seen before for Mega Charizard. So I'm not sure what's going on. It could be somebody just decided to buy a whole lot of these cards before, I don't know, the winter storm hit, because I remember last week we were largely busy preparing for the winter storm. I don't know. I can tell you I was not thinking about buying cards. That's for sure. But this is interesting. And because of that massive volume of purchases, 26 of them, it caused a bit of a bump, which is kind of hard to see, but it's right here. a bit of a bump in price. Again, not as large as Lily's Clefairy, but still a bump. Maybe it's time to pick up these Moltres. I don't know. Looking at the 1 year, yeah, looking at the 1 year, this kind of looks like a bottom if you think about it right here. But I can't be entirely sure. Sometimes there were other bottoms before, like right here and right here, and they were followed by a spike and then eventually another drop. But this is the turn of a new year, and typically the turn of a new year will lead to higher prices. Generally, cards just tend to go up in price anyways, so Moltres, regardless, is a nice pickup. I mean, come on. Can you really deny that this is a good card? Just look at it. The artwork is amazing. Now, back to the chart. Okay, back to normal stuff. We have at the top Umbreon from Prismatic. I mean, it's a really high price card regardless. It had actually dropped in price. So on the 12th, we had a $938 price capture. Then it was $836. And now it is at 865 average. Up to you whether or not you want to buy a $800 card. But if you're looking for a long-term hold, Umbreon definitely is a card to get. So you're gonna just have to swallow that high price. And then we have at number 2, Mega Charizard from Phantasmal Flames. Yeah, surprise, surprise, right? Actually, Mega Charizard has been doing really, really well. There really doesn't seem to be an end to how far this card could go. Again, it is Charizard, and it is also the latest Charizard. And it is a Charizard that is actually popular. So combine all three of those, you pretty much have a winning formula. I just don't know how far this will go in the short term. In the long term, it will do well, most likely. So ignoring the bad data that we had in the past for Mega Charizard, when we had prices disappear or transactions disappear pretty much, for example, on TCG Player, which again messed up the data a little bit. Ignoring all that, Charizard has just been seeing a steady incline like this. We had a $522 price capture on the 12th, then $589, and then now it's $617. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And then in spot number 3, we have Mega Charizard XEX, the gold one from Phantasmal Flames. It is seeing a steady rise, 330, 352, now 373, which is crazy, which is actually a bigger bump than the Mega Charizard SIR. Again, if you remember from the last video I made, we can use these deltas here to determine the steepness of the curve as the price goes up. So the difference between these two deltas for, let's say, the Mega Charizard Gold is about $22 right here, 22. And then here's the Mega Charizard, the SIR, the delta difference between these two, it's about 67, something like that. Here's my poor little 6-figure $67 about, and that is about right for sure. Looking at the prices here, well, the 67, this is from 2 weeks ago, you could say. The $67 price difference is definitely less than this week's price difference of $27, which means it had gone up like this. It went steep, and now it's kind of gradually leveling out, but it's still an increase versus the Mega Charizard Gold here, where 2 weeks ago there was a $22 increase, which is only just a little bit more than this past week's difference in price, $20.32. So it's still kind of going up like this, somewhat leveling out like this, but still pretty steep. The term for this is velocity. If it has high velocity, it's very steep. If it's not that steep, it doesn't really have velocity. So let's look at Mega Charizard real quick. Within the month, we had really good velocity right here. There was a bit of a drop, but I think that was because of that messed up data. Or was that over here? I keep forgetting. And then we're still seeing that velocity still going up. It's like Mega Charizard just keeps reaching new highs, but that's key in finding a winning card, so to speak. There are new highs as well as new lows. The higher it gets higher and the lower gets higher. Now, the other cards in the top 10 include Misty Psyduck from Destined Rivals, Flareon from Prismatic, and we already covered Team Rocket's Moltres. Then we have Magikarp from Paldea Evolved, and then Blastoise from 151, and then Charizard from Obsidian Flames, which is probably everybody's least favorite Charizard EX, maybe, from the modern generation. I don't know. It's definitely my least favorite. But yes, Blastoise, I already talked about Blastoise a couple videos in the past, because Scarlet 151 is just an a winning set. That's the best way that I can describe it. The SIRs are amazing and the IRs are amazing. Now let's go to Misty Psyduck because this one also had a steepness to it, or velocity, and this is exactly what we see. In this past week, there was I guess, a burst of purchases. I don't know. What's the best way to put it? There was a lot of volume. And again, January 20th, maybe someone's trying to corner the market for this one. I actually didn't pay attention as much to Misty Psyduck as I did to Lily's Clefairy and Team Rocket's Moltres, but I think this is the same story. For some reason, there were so many purchases on January 20th. 71. That's insane. And then there was a drop in the price, and then the pace kind of picked up from there, and now it's at about $53. Let's look at January 20th real quick. Wow, there's just been a lot of volume here, and it is a great card, so I'm not surprised. Here we go. January 20th. Yep, a bajillion purchases. Well, 71. $50, 50, 52, 54, 56. Oh, 45, 45, 48. Yep. It doesn't look like any of them are illegitimate transactions or anything. Again, somebody was picking up a lot of cards on January 20th, similar to Lily's Clefairy on January 20th, where 50 of these sold. Kind of crazy for this past month. Team Rocket's Moltres as well, granted this was on January 21st. Now let's see if there are similar patterns. Now I'm just curious. Is there possibly anything else in the top 10? Let's go. Okay, let me just look at Mega Charizard real quick. 1 month, nothing peculiar, I don't think, but that's because this is a very high price card. So let's go to the Mega Charizard Gold. The 1 month, was there anything peculiar? Well, kind of. There was a bit of a spike. Okay, January 21st, 26 of these items sold. And we did not see that since, December 31st, where 30 of these were sold. And I'm just looking at TCG Player because it's all easily wrapped up in this one chart here. January 21st, right? We had Team Rocket's Moltres. Same spike, January 21st. Interesting. Well, now we have Misty Psyduck for January 20th. Like Lily's Clefairy. And the other card I was going to talk about was Mega Gardevoir. Beautiful card. And this has been seeing a steady increase in price. It had dropped, but I think it has bottomed out. That's kind of what it looks like. It's like people have moved on from the bottom, so to speak. Here we go. In a 3 month, it has obviously dipped down. And then it hit a low point here at about 162, and now it's slowly picking up. It's at about 167 now. Let me see, my chart has it at, is it 167? Oh wait, Mega Gardevoir is actually in the top 20 versus the top 10. Okay, yeah, it's at about 167. And I had chosen to talk about this one because of its steady increase, which is a nice, healthy interest in my opinion. So you know that it's likely not a hype card. You don't want a hype card because hype cards, there's always a crash that follows hype, but you just want a nice steady growth in the price. And this is what we are seeing in Mega Gardevoir, and no wonder. This is a beautiful card. This is so far my favorite Gardevoir card. And in terms of any shenanigans, I don't see anything peculiar about it. In the 20th and the 21st, I mean. Yeah, 3 items sold and 7 items sold. Okay, that's normal. Yep, so that is almost all that I'm going to talk about because for the most part, because I'm just reviewing who the winners are for this past week, because those might show a really good trend in price as well as what might be a good investment, because good investments are the ones where other people remain interested in, because you don't just want to be someone who has an investment and not be able to sell it at some point because there's no interest in it. That's really not an investment anymore. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about for this video, actually 2 things. One is something I already mentioned from last week, which is the Master Balls. In the top 20, one of them was Amoonguss Master Ball right here, which has continued seeing a nice increase in price. It was at $9 one point, $10, and now it is at $13. And that's not the only one, because now in the top 30, we have Unfessant or Unfessant. It was at $5 at one point, then 6, and now it is at 8. And here is the card, Unfezant. I hope I'm saying it correctly, from Black Bolt, Master Ball pattern. And this is what we see in the 1 month. Here it is. People have been steadily picking up this card over time. Last week, let's say 3 items sold, 3, and then 2 items. Yep. And just within those few purchases, the price just jumped from $6 to $8. And now people are listing it at minimum 10. Here. Interesting. Definitely pay attention to Master Balls. People have been collecting these and at a steady rate, it looks like. Yeah, just look at this 6 month for Unfezant. Just been going up, and then there was this jump, and now it is at $8. And at least for the near mint. And if somebody is going to pick this up again, they're going to have to probably pay $10 for it. Let's look at the price. Wow, somebody bought it for 20, really? I don't know. I don't know if that's a legitimate purchase. Maybe they got their $6, 14 or 15 here. There just hasn't been a whole ton listed. I mean, Master Balls are kind of hard to find, honestly. If I were to compare the number of Master Balls that I found from Black Bolt and White Flare and compare it with the IRs that I found, well, Master Balls are actually more rare for sure than the IRs. And then if you're trying to find a certain type of Master Ball, it's even harder because there are so many, more than the IRs and SIRs combined. So Master Balls will be interesting to watch. Again, I don't know if you are a collector of Master Balls. They are a collectible card because you have the Pokeball variety, which is definitely not Master Ball, and Master Ball is rarer than the Pokeball. So up to you whether or not you would like to get a card like this. It looks like at the moment, the market is favoring some of these Master Balls, particularly from Black Bolt, because people like Black Bolt a little more. The last 2 cards I'm going to talk about are actually the 2 cheapest cards besides the Among Us Master Ball. The other 2 cheapest cards that are in the top 20, and they are right here. One is Fuecoco from Paldea Evolved, and the other is Plusle or Plusle from Paradox Rift. That's because these 2 cards have been consistently climbing in a very nice, healthy way. Fuecoco was $26, almost $27 on January 12th. Then on the 19th, it was close to 30, and then now it's at 32, close to 33. And Plusle also was seeing a nice steady rise, just like Fuecoco, 25, 26, now 29. And let's look at them real quick. I think these cards are really good pick-me-ups. So here is Fuecoco from Paldea Evolved. It's this really cute one with Fuecoco inside the shopping cart with his trainer pushing behind. And in 3 months, it has seen a nice steady incline in price. The 1 month, it's a little bit more clear, just a continual rise, just like that. The 1 year on TCG Player looks awful. I don't know what happened here. It's like their transactions just dropped off, like a cutoff or something is not recorded. I am really, really confused. If you look at the data, the actual sales, there have been near mints that have been sold for this month, 2026. Some LPs as well, but for some reason it's not recording on their chart. But that's why we can go to something like price charting, and here's what we have for Fuecoco. It has actually seen an incline, nice, steady, kind of slow, but it is a rise in price. And it's just been going slowly up. There was some sort of, bump last year in the January-February 2025 timeframe, and then it kind of bottomed. But if you notice, the bottom here, this new bottom here, is actually higher than the other bottoms here. So basically, it had reached a new high low, if that makes sense. The lows became higher than the past lows, and it has continued going steadily upwards. So there is continued interest in Fuecoco. It is, around $30, which isn't too bad for a pickup. And then Plusle, wow, this 1 year, it has been going up, down, but in general, it has been slowly trending up. And in this past month, it has seen a jump since January 15th timeframe? And then look at this, January 23rd, 22 items sold. So a huge purchase, or I guess a huge purchase rally happened on the 23rd. I don't know if it has anything to do with the 20th and the 21st, as we had seen in the cards that we just talked about. Regardless, somebody or multiple somebodies has just been picking up this card like crazy. And in the 3-month, yeah, kind of steady, slow incline. It's kind of just slowly gone up like this. And really, it's only been this month where it had, I guess, velocity has really picked up. And in the 1 year, it has been steadily going up as well. Maybe since Plusol had spiked quite a bit during this 1 month, it might drop a little shortly after that. Kind of hard to tell. But regardless, Plusol is reaching new highs 1 week at a time. And if we look at Plusol on price charting, yeah, it actually has seen a really nice steady rise over time. A long time ago, it was, a $7 card, and now it is about a $20 card. So that's pretty nice. If you were holding from 2024, you've actually more than doubled the price of your Plusol card. And this is Paradox Rift. And Paradox Rift, I don't know, probably doesn't get as much credit as it should, because Paradox Rift does have a lot of nice IRs and SIRs. And the packs, I think in general, are pretty cheap compared to all the other packs that you get from Gen 9. If you want to try pulling Plusol, yeah, you can go ahead and try, I suppose. It'd be cheaper than trying to pull some other cards like from Prismatic. Yeah, Prismatic is a nightmare set. You are guaranteed nothing for the most part. If you guys had seen my Paradox Rift opening where I pulled like 3 SIRs in one video, yeah, that happened. And I have not actually pulled Plusol before. Now I really want to. Maybe I'll do another Paradox Rift just because I want to find Plusol. But anyways, if you want a card that is, a $30 or a bit under $30. These two are pretty good pickups. Fuecoco and Plusol, they have just been gradually going up, and they are great cards if you're to look at the artwork itself. This is so cute. Fuecoco is so cute. Also, Plusol, so cute. And oh yeah, his trainer's in the background. It's like sitting on the couch, munching on popcorn. I think they're, I don't know, cheering for a game or something. Oh, maybe it's a party. I see like party, banner streamer, something like that here. So I think maybe they're having a party of some kind. I don't know, celebration. It's adorable. It's just adorable.